I want to start with a little honesty. I used to roll my eyes at the idea of soulmates. It sounded too much like a fairy tale, like something reserved for the movies or the kind of people who believe in love at first sight. But then life humbled me. I met people who cracked me open in ways I didn't think were possible. Some stayed, some didn't. And in each encounter, I learned that soulmates aren't just about romance. They're about transformation. Here's the thing, a soulmate isn't someone who completes you. A soulmate is someone who holds up a mirror and shows you who you really are. They challenge you, support you, and walk with you through the messy, imperfect, beautiful parts of life. So, how do you know when that person is about to walk into your life? Well, here are 6 signs that the universe, or maybe just your own soul, is preparing you for their arrival. All right, friends, before we dive in, I've got a little request for you. If this message resonates with you, if it sparks something in your heart, makes you think, or even just gives you that little aha moment, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you want to keep walking this journey together, learning, growing, and showing up as our bravest selves, make sure you subscribe and tap that little bell icon so you don't miss what's coming next. And hey, if you know someone who needs to hear this today, someone who might be struggling, searching, or just looking for a little light, share this with them. Because the most powerful thing we can do is lift each other up. Let's do this together. Before a soulmate enters your life, something profound happens. You begin to step fully into who you are, unapologetically and without hesitation. It doesn't happen overnight, and it's not always a comfortable process. In fact, it often starts with discomfort. Maybe you start feeling restless in certain relationships, noticing that you're filtering yourself to fit into spaces that no longer align with your true nature. Maybe you catch yourself saying things just to keep the peace, nodding along when you don't agree, or shrinking parts of yourself to make others comfortable. And then one day, something inside you shifts. You realize that the price of inauthenticity is far greater than the temporary discomfort of standing in your truth. This transformation is powerful because real love, soul-level love, requires realness. A soulmate isn't looking for the curated version of you. They aren't seeking the watered-down, edited, people-pleasing version. They are drawn to the real you, the one with quirks, passions, strong opinions, and dreams that might not make sense to everyone. When you start embracing those parts of yourself instead of hiding them, you send a signal to the universe, to the people around you, and most importantly to yourself. I am enough exactly as I am. Being unapologetically yourself also means breaking patterns that no longer serve you. Maybe you've spent years over-explaining your choices, justifying your feelings, or dimming your light for the sake of being liked. But something shifts when your soulmate is about to enter your life. You start letting go of the need for external validation. You stop seeking permission to be who you are. You find yourself saying no without guilt, setting boundaries without fear, and showing up as your full self without worrying about whether people will approve. And here's the most beautiful part. When you do this, you naturally attract people who align with you on a deeper level. You stop chasing relationships that require you to be anything other than yourself. You stop clinging to connections built on performance or pretense. Instead, you create space for the kind of love that sees you, accepts you, and celebrates you without conditions. So if you're feeling this shift, if you're starting to care less about fitting in and more about being true to yourself, take it as a sign. The love that's meant for you, the person who is meant to walk beside you in this life, is on their way. And when they arrive, they will meet you, the real, raw, and beautifully unfiltered you. And that, my friend, is the only way to find a love that truly lasts. There comes a moment in life when you stop running toward love as if it's something just out of reach, something you have to chase down before it slips through your fingers. Instead, you begin to realize that the kind of love you've been searching for isn't found through relentless pursuit. It's something that finds you when you are fully present in your own life. This shift doesn't happen all at once, but gradually you start noticing the difference. The desperate need to be chosen, to be validated, to be seen by someone else starts to fade. You begin to understand that real love doesn't require force, manipulation, or endless effort to keep it alive. Love that is meant for you will recognize you without you having to convince it of your worth. This shift from chasing to attracting is one of the most profound changes a person can experience. It means stepping out of the exhausting cycle of trying to prove yourself to others, of bending and twisting to fit into someone's idea of what they want. It means letting go of the belief that love is something that has to be earned by being good enough, or interesting enough, or beautiful enough. When you stop chasing, you start to understand that the most magnetic thing about you is your ability to stand firmly in your own energy, in your own confidence, and in your own self-worth. You begin to attract love, not by reaching for it, but by becoming someone who is already fulfilled on their own. You cultivate a life that is full, rich, and meaningful before someone enters it. You find joy in solitude, purpose in your passions, and peace in your own presence. And as you do, something extraordinary happens. People who once felt out of reach start to notice you in a different way. Opportunities for deep, genuine connection begin to show up without you having to force them. The energy you radiate becomes undeniable because you are no longer searching for something outside of yourself to complete you. And here's the thing, when you stop chasing, you also stop settling. You no longer grasp at relationships that require you to lower your standards or compromise your values. You recognize the difference between love that is fleeting and love that is real. You trust that the right person will meet you where you are, not because you've exhausted yourself trying to make them see you, but because they are naturally drawn to the person you have become. So if you feel yourself letting go of the chase, if you find yourself more at ease, more content, more focused on becoming rather than searching, take it as a sign. Love is not something you have to run after. The kind of love you deserve, the kind of love that sees you and stays, will always find you when you are simply being yourself, living fully and trusting that you are already enough. Healing from past wounds is not about forgetting what happened to you. It's not about pretending the pain didn't exist or sweeping it under the rug, hoping it will disappear. No, healing is about facing those wounds head on, feeling the depth of them, and choosing every single day not to let them define your future. When a soulmate is about to enter your life, one of the biggest shifts you'll notice is how you relate to your past. You stop carrying it like a weight on your back, allowing it to shape your expectations, your fears, and your ability to trust. Instead, you begin to acknowledge it for what it was, a chapter in your story, but not the whole book. You start to recognize that pain has been your teacher, but it is not your identity. For so long, many of us unknowingly carry our old wounds into new relationships. We let past betrayals make us suspicious of new love. We let the heartbreaks of yesterday convince us that love is dangerous, unreliable, and temporary. We build walls, not realizing that the very barriers meant to protect us are also keeping us from experiencing something deeper, something real. We hold on to grudges, afraid that forgiveness means weakness, when in reality, forgiveness is freedom. But healing changes everything. When you begin to heal, you stop looking for someone to rescue you, to fix you, to make up for the ways others have hurt you. You stop expecting new love to clean up the mess that past love left behind. Instead, you take responsibility for your own healing. You give yourself the space and grace to process the pain, to learn from it, and to grow beyond it. Healing also means recognizing patterns, the ones that keep leading you into the same kind of relationships with different people. Maybe you've always attracted emotionally unavailable partners because deep down, you didn't fully believe you were worthy of someone who stays. Maybe you've settled for less than you deserve because you feared being alone more than being unhappy. Maybe you've repeated cycles of self-sacrifice, overgiving and neglecting your own needs because love to you has always meant proving your worth. But when you are truly healing, you start breaking these cycles. You recognize that you don't have to prove anything to be loved. You realize that your worth is not measured by how much pain you can endure or how much effort you put into making someone stay. You begin to believe, really believe, that love should not feel like a constant struggle, but like a place of safety, ease, and reciprocity. And as you do this deep work, you unknowingly start attracting a different kind of love. A love that doesn't trigger your old wounds, but soothes them. A love that doesn't play games, but meets you with honesty. A love that doesn't require you to shrink yourself or compromise your dignity just to keep it. This is what happens when you stop carrying your wounds forward and start allowing yourself to heal. So if you feel yourself letting go of resentment, if you're becoming more compassionate with yourself and others, if you're choosing peace over the chaos of familiar patterns, this is a sign. It's a sign that you are making room for something new, something better, something that won't feel like the love you've known before. Because when you stop carrying the past like a burden, your hands are finally free to receive the kind of love you truly deserve. There comes a point in life when things start aligning in ways that feel almost too perfect to be a coincidence. You start noticing patterns, little winks from the universe that seem to be guiding you towards something or someone. Maybe you keep seeing the same numbers on the clock, like 11:11 or 2:22, and you feel an unshakable sense that something is shifting. Maybe you keep running into the same themes in books, conversations, or music lyrics, as if the world is trying to tell you something. Maybe you meet a stranger who says exactly what you needed to hear at just the right moment. These aren't just random events. They're signs that you're in alignment with something greater than yourself. When a soulmate is about to enter your life, synchronicities become more frequent. It feels like invisible threads are pulling you toward a certain path, a certain person, a certain moment that will change everything. And the more you pay attention, the clearer the signs become. It's as if the universe is gently whispering, get ready, something beautiful is coming. But these synchronicities aren't just external, they also happen inside you. You start having gut feelings that are impossible to ignore. Maybe you feel a sense of calm about the future, even if nothing outwardly has changed. Maybe you have a deep knowing that you're meant to be in a certain place at a certain time. Maybe you feel drawn to new experiences, new people, or new environments in a way that doesn't quite make logical sense, but your soul knows it's right. Your intuition, that quiet inner voice, starts speaking louder. And for once, you actually listen. Because deep down, you understand that gut feelings aren't just random. They are wisdom. They are guidance. They are glimpses of the future before it fully arrives. When you're about to meet your soulmate, your intuition nudges you toward the right people, the right opportunities, and the right choices. It helps you recognize when to step forward and when to let go. And here's the most powerful part. When you trust these signs, when you follow these feelings without fear, you start living in a state of flow. You stop forcing things, you stop resisting. Instead, you surrender to the idea that what is meant for you will always find you. You start to believe, maybe for the first time, that love doesn't have to be a struggle, that it can arrive naturally, effortlessly, beautifully, exactly when and where it's supposed to. So if you find yourself seeing patterns, feeling nudges, or experiencing an unexplainable pull towards something new, don't dismiss it. This is your soul speaking to you. This is life aligning in your favor. This is the universe preparing you for the kind of love that is destined to find you. And when the moment comes, when the connection happens, you will look back and realize that every sign was leading you right to them. There's a powerful shift that happens when you stop fearing your own company and start embracing solitude as something sacred. It's not that you don't want love or that you've given up on finding it. It's that you no longer see being alone as a problem that needs to be fixed. You've stopped viewing your worth through the lens of whether or not someone else chooses you, and instead, you've started choosing yourself. For so long, many of us are conditioned to believe that being alone is something to be avoided, something that signifies failure or unworthiness. We settle for relationships that don't fulfill us just to avoid facing the quiet. We stay in situations that drain us because we believe that being with someone, even if it's the wrong person, is better than being with no one. But when your soulmate is about to enter your life, this belief starts to dissolve. You begin to realize that there is a difference between loneliness and solitude. One is an ache, a longing for something external to fill an internal void. The other is a choice, an acceptance, a recognition that your own presence is enough. When you're no longer afraid of being alone, you start making decisions from a place of strength rather than scarcity. You stop tolerating relationships that drain you, manipulate you, or make you feel small. You stop settling for love that requires you to abandon parts of yourself just to keep the peace. Instead, you learn how to create peace within yourself. You cultivate a life that brings you joy with or without a partner. You start waking up in the morning feeling content, knowing that your happiness isn't dependent on whether or not someone texts you. And something magical happens when you reach this place of self-sufficiency. You start attracting a different kind of love. The energy of desperation, of seeking someone to complete you, is replaced with the energy of confidence and self-assurance. You are no longer looking for someone to fix you because you've already done the work to heal yourself. You are no longer looking for someone to save you because you've realized you were never broken to begin with. You are no longer looking for someone to make you happy because you've already found happiness within. This doesn't mean you don't desire love. It doesn't mean you don't dream of deep connection, but it means that love is now something you invite into your life rather than something you chase. You understand that the right person will add to your happiness, not be the source of it. You trust that when they arrive, it won't be because you were out searching for them. It will be because you were already whole, already fulfilled, already complete on your own. So if you find yourself in a season of solitude, don't rush through it. Don't see it as a waiting period or a gap that needs to be filled. Instead, embrace it as a gift, a time to fall in love with your own life, a time to nurture your dreams, explore your passions, and build a relationship with yourself so strong that when love does arrive, it feels like a beautiful addition, not a missing piece. Because the truth is, when you stop fearing being alone, you finally make space for the kind of love that's meant to stay. So if you're seeing these signs, don't panic, don't rush, just trust. Love isn't about luck and it's not about timing. It's about alignment. Your soulmate isn't just out there waiting for you. They're preparing for you just as you are preparing for them. So keep becoming, keep healing, keep trusting, because the love you're seeking, it's on its way. And when it arrives, you'll be ready